¿Quieres formar parte del club más exclusivo de todo Vail? No te vayas, porque en este episodio te voy a contar cómo lo puedes lograr, ya que solamente hay 62 membresías.
Some of the other clubs, they've built their business model around more people. I want less people with more amenities.
Hola, soy Beatriz Martinez, la host de este podcast Conquering Vail, donde hablamos de todos los temas relacionados al real estate y al lifestyle de Vail Valley, exclusivamente enfocados al comprador internacional. Bienvenidos a mi podcast. En la mañana de hoy tengo el honor de presentarles a Brad KAEMMER, fundador de 62 Society. Brad es un reconocido restaurador de segunda generación con más de 30 años de trayectoria en la hospitalidad.
I've run hundreds of restaurants all over the country, and I said if I was ever going to come back to Vail, I was going to do something very special.
Sus padres John y Julie KAEMMER llegaron a Vail a mediados de los años 60 y abrieron el London Bar and Grill, que más tarde se convirtió en el Club Tower Inn, marcando un antes y un después en la calidad gastronómica del Vail Valley.
Peter Seibert and Earl Eaton, some of the earlier founders of Vail, they ended up spending a lot of time with my father, and they asked my dad if he wanted to come to Vail and open a restaurant.
Brad nació y creció en Vail y considera un privilegio continuar en el legado de su familia. Además de ser un ejecutivo destacado en hospitalidad y sommelier, está trabajando junto con la comunidad de Vail para hacer realidad the 62 Society.
The unique thing about the 62 is I can just shut it down and throw a Three Kings party. I don't have to play by the rules that kind of everyone else does.
Welcome, Brad. Welcome to Conquering Vail. So excited to have you here this morning.
Thank you. So nice to be here.
I know. I mean, you're like a local celebrity. And what I just said in Spanish is, comes from, all the background. And if you could maybe, even though I gave a short introduction in Spanish, if you could maybe tell our listeners, how did you start in Vail and your background, your family legacy in Vail, that would be great to begin with.
Sure. Yeah. Well, my father went to the hotel restaurant program at the University of Denver. Mm-hmm. And after he graduated was running a restaurant in Denver, and Peter Seibert and Earl Eaton, some of the earlier founders of Vail, used to come into his restaurant and put all their plans and prints out on the table and, began talking about what they wanted, what their vision was for Vail. And they ended up, spending a lot of time with my father, and they asked my dad if he wanted to come to Vail and open a restaurant. And mm-hmm. At that point, he had just graduated from college, didn't have a whole bunch of money. And they said, we can do some things to help you. And so that turned into the London Bar and Grill. And my family had restaurants kind of scattered all over the Vail Village for years and years, 6 restaurants in total. And so I either grew up on a ski hill or in a restaurant and knew I wanted to follow in my father's footsteps. And I went to the hotel restaurant program at the University of Nevada, Las Vegas, when it was the fastest growing city in the country for multiple years in a row. Casinos were coming out of the desert every couple months. And so I cut my teeth and got my education there in Las Vegas. Lived out in Napa Valley and worked in restaurants in Napa Valley, and then really just kind of dedicated my entire life to the restaurant business. I've run hundreds of restaurants all over the country of various different kinds of cuisines, service styles. And I said, if I was ever going to come back to Vail, I was going to do something very special. And what I mean by that is, I looked at what the Valley needs and what it was missing. And every club or locker room, if you will, are all kind of really run by Vail Resorts. It's not a focus for Vail Resorts. It's a very small sliver of, how they make up their revenues. And so I said, I'm going to differentiate my business model. At the end of the day, I'm a food and beverage guy, restaurateur. And so, those clubs don't serve breakfast, lunch, après-ski, and dinner. So we're definitely going to focus on that. we have the best location in all of Vail, right at the base of Gondola 1. So we've got a great location. We're going to have an unbelievable upscale food and beverage experience, which the other clubs don't have. And then really the third leg of the stool for me is kind of this whole concierge component where people that are part of this society get access to all sorts of different amenities. So it's almost a little bit like kind of casino host meets travel agent. And so, you know, if you wanted to go snowmobiling during the winter and you were a member, we would take care of that. If you were looking for us to help you get reservations at other restaurants, we would help you do that. I'm literally on the verge right now of getting a reciprocal with the Gravity House here in Vail for people to be able to work out and have a spa. And then we've partnered up with the Gorsuch family. They're going to do all of our ski storage and ski tuning and demos and all of that. And so it's really going to be a one-stop shop to really, you know, if you want first tracks in the morning, we're working with the Vail Valley Foundation to get that. So it's really just trying to make, you know, all of your experience in Vail kind of seamless. And really the kicker, because of the location, there's no parking, there's no traffic.
And let me interrupt you real quick, because I want my listeners to know the location is where the old Los Amigos was located. I mean, it's going to be much better because you're remodeling it, but it's a great location overlooking Gondola 1. I mean, it's prime location. It's
right.
Just, when you say it's a good location, it's not. It's the best. I think it's going to be the best location in all of Vail, period.
Yeah.
The views that you're going to have there.
Yeah. And, you know, other things, I was able to ink a deal with Vail Resort. So I'm putting a really communal, convivial fire pit between what is going to be our front door on the slope side and Gondola 1. So it's going to have this kind of element of, you know, a meeting area, greeting, very fun, kind of festive atmosphere, both for the winter and summer. And then, you know, I've always said the hardest part of skiing isn't actually skiing. You know, gravity works, magic. And so we're going to have, you know, a whole fleet of Escalades that is going to pick people up and either bring you from your home to the hill to go skiing, from your home to have a meal. And then, you know, after après ski, if you want to go home, you know, we have those transportation services kind of on demand. So we're going to have a very robust member app on a smartphone, so people can do things seamlessly. They can order their skis, they can order a car, they can make restaurant reservations, you know, they can reach out to us if they, you know, want something else, want ballet tickets, first tracks, you know, anything like that.
So Brett, knowing your background, what's going to be the gastronomic offering at the restaurant? And who are you bringing on in your team that's going to make a difference in the Vail Valley, in Vail Village specifically speaking? What do you have in mind in terms of the gastronomic offering for this restaurant?
Good question. You know, we are in negotiations with, you know, I'll be flying all over the world to make sure I find the right person. But, you know, we're really, the elevation of the cuisine will be kind of a James Beard or Michelin starred chef that is going to bring casual but upscale cuisine, you know, to the 62. I think a lot of people come to Vail and they're looking to relax and really kind of, you know, have maybe an experience that isn't white tablecloth, where you don't have to wear a suit and tie, but they expect that level of cuisine just in a little bit more kind of upscale casual environment. So, you know, when I set out again on this crusade, I wanted to make sure it wasn't just a steakhouse, it wasn't a French restaurant, it wasn't an Italian restaurant, you know, it wasn't a seafood restaurant. really, I just want it to be extremely craveable cuisine that covers the whole genre. So there really is no veto vote, if you will, where somebody's like, oh, I don't eat steak, so I don't want to go to that steakhouse. There's going to be a little bit of everything. And then the cuisine will obviously change from breakfast to lunch and lunch to après ski. Après ski is going to be more shareable, tapas, just kind of quick bites, easy things, that won't fill you up if you're going to come back and have a nice dinner. So, yeah, that's really it. Craveable food, and I think we'll understand with after we get open, what the society members really want to see, and then we'll be able to pivot on a dime and really kind of build a menu around what people's taste profiles are.
Oh, yeah, because I mean that's something important because you're only selling 62 memberships, correct? If you can maybe talk a little bit about that. Why 62, first of all, and why only why that number and why only 62? And
Sure.
also, if you can explain a little bit also about the restaurant. Is it going to be open to the general public? And what perks would those 62 members or families are going to have if they join the society?
Sure. Yeah. Well, obviously the 62 is relevant because that's when my family got to Vail. And it's also when Vail was officially incorporated as a place. So that's the reason for the name. And the reason behind only taking 62 is I think some of the other clubs, kind of they've built their business model around more people with less amenities. I want less people with more amenities. I want to make sure that we can deliver on this brand promise of all these things that we expect. And so I felt like that was the right number, to begin with, to really be able to service people at the highest level. It's not an offering for everybody. And I've told people, if you're looking for just a locker room, with a banana and a power bar, this isn't the right thing for you. I'll help you find that. But this is definitely, a lot of our members are just looking for a sense of space, a place that they feel comfortable being in. It's very exclusive. And I just want to make sure all of those services that I talked about before, that we can deliver on that, and more, and continue to build on that. Success in my mind, Beatriz, is really not losing any members. That will be success in my mind, is that we've done such a good job that nobody ever wants to leave. The waiting list grows, and because it's such a boutique offering, we're already about 37% of the way, and we, of filling up the memberships. And, I think once we hit this ski season, things are really going to start to take off. Some of the other, things that are maybe a little bit unique about what my offering is there is a real estate transferability when you sign up for membership. So, meaning if you had a home in Vail and you were a member and you decided to leave Vail and you sold your home, the new homeowners would have the 62 society membership attached to their home.
Yeah.
So they don't have to be on a waiting list. Some of the clubs in Vail now are telling people it's over 10 years.
Yes.
Ever be a member.
And that's my message to my clients that are listening. I mean, those that have been asking, I have so many clients that ask about, the Arabelle Club, etc. And I tell them it's 5-10 years of a wait list. This is your chance. Obviously, it's a very different type of membership or club or society. It's very unique. So you cannot compare it to a signature club, a Vail Resorts signature club, but it is worth exploring please do so, because once the memberships are out, it's very, very difficult. And then they start complaining, well, how come, and yada, yada, yada. And this is the time. I mean, in 10 years from now or 5 years from now, I will have clients asking about how can I become a member of the 62 Society. So this is your chance, whoever's out there, because this was the Arabelle, or again, it's totally different, but it was 20 years ago, right? Or 15 years ago. This is and it's unique from, you know, what you've mentioned. The location is unique, the offering is unique, the services, and it's not only again just a restaurant or a club. It's a mix of many things, including the concierge, which
Sure.
is something that you know, when you travel and you're used to certain you know, types of services, this is exactly, you know, what you're looking for.
Right.
So
yeah, it really is. You know, again, it's not for everybody. It's very limited, and you know, I would hate for people to say, well, I hesitated, because hesitation could, you know, put you significantly behind. You know, I think the other thing that's maybe a little unique is there's also a legacy transfer. So in the event that somebody, you know, signs up and they, you know, they get older in age and they stop skiing, they can transfer that membership to one of their children or transfer it to somebody else. So it kind of can stay in the family for a longer amount of time. And then right now, I don't know how much longer I'm going to offer it, but the memberships, I have two different tranches of memberships. One is 250,000, and that's refundable. And then I have 150,000 that is not refundable. So, you know, I built in the refundable membership for the specific reason that if I don't deliver on the brand promise, then I should give you your money back. I couldn't sleep at night knowing that you're not happy. I didn't execute, you know, and so it's refundable. So there really isn't, I guess I look at it, there really isn't a lot of risk in doing it, because if you're not happy, you know, they're fully refundable. How long I'm going to offer the refundable, you know, I don't know. I think it just depends on, you know, how we continue to move, you know, into the winter. And yeah, I mean, we're looking to open summer of 26. Again, it's because of the location, you know, it's hard to drive trucks and tractors and cranes and, you know, all of that there. So, and it's a full remodel. We have gutted the entire place, and it will be over an $8 million rebuild of the property.
Yeah, no, you're not going to be able to do. I mean, whomever goes to Vail this year, most of my clients go every year. You're going to see the construction in the area. But as you said, it's not like you're going to be able to full on continue the remodeling job during the ski season.
Right. So yeah. The goal is that we have all the exterior work done, the windows, and, you know, because we're enclosing the patio from the old Los Amigos space, all those doors and windows will open up. So, you know, it's a fully functional space during the winter when it's 5 below zero. But on a day like today, you know, you can open up 66% of the entire restaurant to the open air. And so the goal is to have all that exterior work done by Thanksgiving, and then start all the interior work after that.
Oh, that's going to be interesting to see. And Brad, is the restaurant going to be open to the general public? The restaurant part of, you know, of that's the main, I guess, offering. You have other things, but the restaurant in itself, an area is going to be open to the general public?
It is, with a little caveat there that obviously first the 62 members and their families will be the only people that can actually make reservations. There won't be reservations open to the public. And then after that, all of the people that are supporting the 62, meaning, you know, people that are good customers at Gorsuch that have been coming for 30 years, then those people will have an opportunity to get in. And then, if we get this thing done with the Gravity House, that they will have some access to there. And so as you kind of cascade down, kind of whatever is left, members can make reservations for their friends without having to be there. So in a nutshell, yes, it is open to the public, but it'll be very difficult to access.
Yes.
Definitely during the busy times. It's kind of, I almost liken it to, like in Epic Pass, there are certain blackout dates that you just can't. And I want to make sure we take care of our guests, all the people that are supporting us, their friends, and everybody else. So.
And then the membership, when you buy the membership, is it for you and your immediate family? If your children does it include your children if they are under a certain age? Who's included in that membership?
Yeah, so the membership is, obviously there has to be one person that's on it, their significant other, and then their family with children under the age of 23. I think is the way that some of the other clubs work. So we kind of modeled it after that. And then, at that point, they can still come in, but you wouldn't have access to all of the other ski storage and the car service and all of that stuff. Whether we're going to be a stickler on all that, after we built a relationship with these people, I just want to take care of the people that supported us early on. So as long as we can do it, we will do it as long as we possibly can. Because, there will be families whose children grow up in this club. And I couldn't look at myself in the mirror and say, okay,
now you're 25 and you can't get in.
I just that's I'm not wired that way, and we just want to take care of people and make it special.
And as you said, this is a passion project, a legacy project for you. You want to leave your mark in your hometown.
Right.
From what I gather from our earlier conversation earlier.
Yes. And there's certain design elements in the restaurant that are paying homage to some of the early families. So there was a family in Vail with the last name Donovan. They had Donovan's Copper Bar, and they have a park named after him. And so the bar top will be all copper, kind of paying homage to that. If you're familiar with the Christiania Lodge, they have that very iconic door. We're gonna replicate that door as the front entrance. I was close with that family. My father or my uncle drew the first two original Vail ski posters, advertising posters. So I have both of those. Those will be in the restaurant. So just little nods to the back bar will be backlit onyx, and it will have kind of wrought iron rails in it with the original 5 chairlifts when Vail opened in 1962. So, every design element, the mesquite wood flooring is coming out of my wife's family's ranch in San Antonio, Texas.
Oh my God. Yeah.
So there's some interesting design elements. And one thing I forgot to mention, there's going to be a very big wine component. Obviously, I'm a sommelier, and the gentleman that certified me 35 years ago when I was running a casino in Las Vegas is one of only 4 master sommeliers and masters of wine on the entire planet. And so when I told him about this legacy project, he had said, Brad, I don't really do that work anymore, but because I've known you and, we have history, I would be happy to curate your wine list. So it will be something like nobody's ever seen, definitely in Vail, because the access that he has to very difficult vintages or, producers is unheard of. And so he's come on board and he's going to help curate the wine list. And so, yeah, it's going to be, I'm surrounding myself with the best people that I can, that are going to bring something special to the project.
Then, Brad, now you gave me an idea. Let's bring you back to do the wine list, the reveal, and we'll bring in your sommelier, and we'll have something maybe a year from now.
Yeah.
Well, actually, yeah. No, you're opening summer of 2026.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So a year from now, we'll do maybe the wine list or, reveal, or
right.
la carte du vin.
Right. Yeah.
We'll do it here at Conquer in Vail Park. I would love to have you and him, and have that reveal here. That would be great right before the opening.
I had a couple thoughts too. If you were interested in doing some kind of mixer,
would love it.
They actually have a very, very nice space at the Gravity House where you could do kind of a cocktail reception with light hors d'oeuvres, and they did a great job building it. I don't know if you've been in it, but
well, not only that, my new, they have a co-working space.
Yes.
So yeah. that's where we, that's what we are working out from. The Gravity House, all of a sudden it's in everyone's radar. A lot of my clients from Mexico that have moved to Vail are using that co-working space.
Right.
Assistant told me about it, and we just decided to work out of there. I mean, everybody, it's a hub for a lot of international folks, yeah. And of course the gym and the restaurant, but yeah, I mean, and I've been thinking about every year, and I think we talked about this the last time. Every year I do something for Three Kings Day or Three Kings Eve, which is January 6th. It's Three Kings Day and the 5th. So maybe this time around we have a theme, and we'll do it at the Gravity House for my VIP clients.
Yeah, absolutely. The other thing, you got me thinking, I know that the folks that run the Colorado Ski Museum.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
And they offered up to allow us to have the space one evening for a cocktail party. And I don't know if you've ever been in it. It's absolutely very interesting on the history of skiing in Colorado. Lots of artifacts and antiques, and lots of stories. And it's a beautiful space. And I just went to a reception there where they had wine and light hors d'oeuvres, and people can walk around and talk and learn some history of Colorado skiing.
Is there a Vail historian? I'm sure there must be. I mean, that would go hand in hand too with having an event. That would be very interesting.
Yeah, they do tours and walking tours of Vail, and so yeah, I thought there's plenty of spaces that we could do a little get together, and in the event that I could get this gentleman to come pour wine, we could have a really upscale wine tasting and educational piece, something like that. So you let me know if there's an interest, and I'll figure out a way to make it happen.
100%. And I'm telling everybody now that if you are in my VIP group, you'll be invited. And if you're not, make sure that you become part of my VIP group. Just send me a text or WhatsApp, and I'll make you part of it so that you can be invited to this wine tasting. So Brad, a project of this magnitude always comes with challenges. What were some of the main obstacles that you face in bringing the 62 society to life?
Sure. A couple things come to mind. One, definitely the building. Yeah, it was old and nothing could stay. So if you remember Los Amigos, not one thing stayed. So everything is brand new. Even just things like the building doesn't have air conditioning. So I'm putting air conditioning in the building. So with those kind of things, obviously are challenging. The location, obviously challenging for a construction site. Yeah. A lot of, just permitting in the town because of where, the location is. That comes with a little strife. And then, I think the last thing that I tried to do a good job, and there's a lot of material on our website, is, trying to cast a vision on a product that you can't touch, you can't see, it's not built yet.
Yeah.
And so I'm working on a 3D rendering of walking through the space so people can really understand, okay, now I understand it, I get it. All the windows are going to open up on a beautiful day, and this is what the bar is going to look like. And then there's 2 members only areas in the restaurant that are, exclusive, that, only members will be in those areas. So I think it's just really just trying to get people to understand that, this is going to be what the finished product is going to look like. And so, yeah, a lot of people have signed up already, with the understanding of, I want to be part of this early visionary piece. And I seem to understand enough about it that I feel comfortable, becoming a member.
Looking ahead, how do you envision the future of the 62 Society in the next 5 to 10 years, Brad?
I think obviously the menu will evolve. I also made a commitment when I built out the business model that every year I want there to be different things that people experience in the space. So whether it's, obviously the menu would change, wine lists will change, but just even things like maybe the tabletops will change, or the employee uniforms will change, or, the artwork will change, because I want members to be able to come back and just kind of, we're reinventing ourselves or upgrading ourselves every year. And then I think, I won't stop, even after we open, trying to figure out what are those reciprocal amenities that I can make members experiences better. Whether it's
and as things evolve and new services, the mountain is changing. As you know, in the next 5 years, there's going to be so many new things in town, and maybe a new village, etc. So as the mountain evolves, so it's not going to be just this. It's going to be an evolving experience, from what I hear, and you definitely want to cater to those families. And even though, also, if I hear you correctly, is you want the families to stay and to be an intergenerational type of club. That, that's not only going to be, the 62 members that sign right now, but also their families hopefully will, become members as well and grow up. And I think that that's when you talk, that's, you grew up in Vail, and I feel that that's what you're trying to create here, somewhere where the new generation can grow and bring their kids and their grandkids and grow in that space.
Yeah, skiing and snowboarding is such it's one of the only sports that families can enjoy all together. And so I wanted this space to be a space that everybody can enjoy together for generations to come. If your parents skied, you skied, and my kids ski, and their kids will ski, and
I have to laugh, and I'm sorry to interrupt. I'm now envisioning, and I'm entering that stage now, unfortunately. I remember we used to make fun of my mom. It was horrible. When we were 13, 14, 15, we're like, oh, she's such a slowpoke. And now, we would all be at the bottom of the mountain, and the whole, we would choose a date. Let's ski with the parents' day, right? We're like, oh no. And now, and I can remember as if it was yesterday, to me sitting, with my skis up on the ground, looking at my mom going, on the mountain and taking photos. And I'm not starting to, and I'm not, I'm a better skier than my mom, because they gave me the privilege to learn early on. They learned as an adult, so that's not fair. But I'm entering that stage where we ski together, but my 15-year-old is like, Mom, the last time I skied with him last year, when he was 14, I told him, I'm done. I was like sweating. He was, he's like, oh, you're becoming so slow and whatever. I'm like, you know what? Just go. So, just go out. It was the first time I left him like literally alone on the mountain. I'm like, I don't care. I'm not going to break a bone. So I'm starting to enter that stage where, we're going to ski together, but maybe, 1 or 2 days out, specific dates out of the season because they don't want to anymore.
Right.
But I agree with you. I mean, and those are memories that I'm going to remember forever of, me, my parents and I, and my kids, grandparents on the father's side, that they actually, live here in Vail, and they grew up, in Vail as well. And those are memories that you cannot, take away.
Yeah. And I think too, our credit is, when we were younger and skied, the chairlifts were slower. There weren't 5 people on them.
No.
And, now you spend so much more time on the hill than you do on the lifts. I can't ski all day anymore. I would
me neither. Brad, me neither.
I'm good. 4, 5, 6 runs. I'm about good.
I don't want to ski all day. I want to go to the 62 Society and have really good wine.
Come in for après ski for sure. So,
Brad, so wrapping up, because I know we're super busy. I'm so excited. I'm so happy that you came to our podcast and that I got to know you. And we will definitely do something for my VIP clients this case. Sure. We'll start planning soon. But thank you so much. And I know, and I'm really hoping that that a certain group or a percentage of my clients that are mostly from Latin America, international, that have the privilege and the ability to become members of the 62 Society, because I think diversity brings a lot of richness into a membership, a society or a membership or a club such as that. So I'm sure I want to be able to bring you some members. Así que, Brad, muchísimas gracias por compartirnos tu visión de lo que será uno de los clubes más exclusivos de Vail. Brad, let our listeners know if they want to get in touch with you, or if they want to know more about the 62 Society. Where can they find you, or the website?
Yeah, they can just go to the website www.the62vail.com. My membership director's name is Julia Salerno. She's been in the Vail Valley for 20 plus years. People can register to get more information. They can be part of our email communication that happens, every week or so on updates and different things that we're doing. They can book an in-person meeting with her and a site tour. And I'm happy to take you next time you're in Vail, or anybody you want, to walk through, and kind of I can try to breathe life into the vision that I have. So that's really the best way to kind of get involved, because I own the real estate and I don't have any debt on the business. I'm funding this entire project on my own. I don't have any investors. I don't have to pay myself any rent. The unique thing about the 62 is I can just shut it down and throw a 3 Kings party, a New Year's Eve party, Kentucky Derby party. I don't have to play by the rules that kind of everyone else does. So I can just close it down and have some really special events that maybe other restaurants in Vail can't do or wouldn't do, because it's a unique offering, and it's really, I'm the only owner. So.
And that's very important, because, at least from, my clients, from Latin America, Mexico, Miami, they have big families, and they have, I used to travel with my grandparents. I mean, that's how it was, crazy. They were in their 70s, and we would go skiing with them. So that's how we all travel. We travel with grandparents and grandkids. And and we like to have big big parties. So
Sure.
that's definitely, a benefit,
Yeah.
and that you could rent out the entire space without a lot of red tape,
Right.
in order to have a special party or a special event.
Sure. Yeah. We've already had requests from members to throw their children's rehearsal dinner there.
Oh, you're
You know,
right.
all retirement party,
Yes.
all of that. So, yeah, a little bit different business model with some flexibility.
Well, thank you. Thank you so much, Brad. And I'm super,
Sure.
super excited. Thank you for being here today. Thanks.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
A nuestra audiencia, gracias por escuchar otro episodio de Conquering Vail. Si quieren más información de cómo ser miembros del 62 Society en Vail, no dejes de contactarme por WhatsApp al 001-970-404-1729 o por Instagram a Bea en Vail. Suscríbete a mi podcast en Spotify y aquí en mi canal de YouTube para que te enteres semanalmente de todo lo nuevo en el Vail Valley, tanto en real estate como en lifestyle. Gracias por acompañarnos en la mañana de hoy y nos vemos muy pronto en las pistas de Vail. Hasta luego.